we are going to start. The name of the chapter is Income from Household. Take out your indexes. In your textbook, you can see your index. Now, whatever I am telling you now, chapter number 1, put a tick mark and write down the date. When did we finish this chapter?
Yesterday.
Yesterday only. Give the date 28th of August 2022. Can you see chapter number 2?
Yes, sir.
Even that chapter is over. Put a tick mark. When did we finish this chapter? Today. What is the date today?
29.
Put that date. Now, whenever we will be finishing a chapter, no, we'll come here and we'll put a date.
Yes, sir.
Why I am doing this? The reason is very simple. That, guys, please settle down. Sit now. Whenever we'll put this date, no, the reason for putting this date is you should be aware that when I have finished the chapter in the class, right? Besides this date, now you are supposed to put one more date when you complete it on your own. Why I am doing this, you know? You come to know that whether you are revising the things regularly or not. That is not for me, that is for you. If I am doing it today, within a week, if you are not revising this chapter, no, entirely, the things will be lost from your mind. And I don't want that thing to happen. So the moment this chapter is over, no, within 1 week's time, you should revise the entire chapter on your own once. So that by the time the test is coming, no, you are not in a pressure. You have to read only once, and that will also happen fast. Understanding? You will be able to perform in your test. So for the test, you will be reading it 3rd time. First in the class, second on your own when you are revising, and 3rd time for the test. Okay. Now, when your syllabus will be over, no, after that you will be writing prelims in the class. Well, that prelims will be there, 2 papers will be there for taxation. So you will be reading the same chapter 2 more times. How many times you study?
5 times.
And ready after reading the same chapter for 5 times, if you are not able to perform, you are not fit to become a chartered accountant. And see, this should be your endeavor to study on your own. Nobody is going to come you, sit beside you and tell you that Anna, Akka, please study. Nobody is going to come near you and tell you to study. That is your lookout, that you should study on your own. And if you are not studying now, trust me, you are not doing any justice with your parents. Stop fooling your parents and start working. Start earning. Okay. So this chapter is over today. Within a week's time, you will complete it. What you will complete? Now I will tell you. Whatever theory is there, no need to study from here. The handwritten notes provided by me,
Yes, sir.
sufficient enough. See, whatever chapter which we are going to study from this textbook, no, those chapters only theory you read from textbook. For all the chapters, almost every chapter, handwritten notes are there. I will provide, right now. So only the handwritten notes you are supposed to refer. Once done, then classwork question done by me in the class. You do all the questions on your own, whether you are able to solve them or not. Because see, once you have done those questions in the class, then again if you are doing those chapter questions, you can do it on your own. If you cannot do it, see where you are getting stuck. Okay, ask the problems to me. Now what will happen? Classwork only, no, if you will do, it is not going to help you out. Apart from classwork, in every chapter, backside, after the end of the chapter, you will see homework sections. Right now, every chapter you have homework section. And you will be very pleased to know that every homework section has past exam questions and good questions which are framed by me and the faculty team. So all the direct tax faculties, we sit together and we frame few questions which covers almost every concept of this chapter, which are the questions asked in the exams. If you fail to solve the homework section, no, that means there is a lack of practice, there is less practice. See, all the homework questions has solutions. So what you will do? You will read the question, read the solution. Read the question, read the solution. It is not going to help you. All the homework question solve on your own. After solving, see the solution. From that solution, you will come to know that whether you have solved it correctly or you have committed any mistake. Whatever mistakes you have committed, no, then that time only you mark those mistakes. Write it down. Stick a small piece of paper on that page, and on that paper you write down that what mistakes you committed in this question. Whenever you will be reading whenever you will be revising the things once again, no, then you will not have to do entire thing again. Only concentrate on the mistakes so that you don't commit them once again. In the test also, whatever mistakes you are committing, no, identify your mistakes. See, rather than doing the entire things again and again, focus only on mistakes. If the mistakes are identified and you are not committing them again, no, your work is done. So this is a smartest way to study, and there is a hard work which you are supposed to put in. If you are not putting in this much hard work, no, trust me on this, it will be very difficult for you all to pass the taxation paper. Trust me on this. So yesterday also I told you, today I am also telling you the same thing. It will be very difficult for you to pass this subject. Right? Okay, so we start with the new chapter. Now, do you all remember? Yesterday we discussed that process of computing the total income. In that process, receipts which are your incomes and which are taxable and which are covered in your scope. That means includable in the total income. Only those incomes are considered to compute your total income. Now, you know that which incomes will be considered to compute your total income, which incomes will not be considered. So, the incomes which are to be considered to compute your total income. All these incomes will be classified in 5 heads. First head, second head, third head, business and profession. Fourth one and fifth one. Now, the second head of income, house property head. See, those incomes which are covered in your scope based on your residential status and type of income. The incomes which are covered in your scope, which incomes out of the incomes covered in your scope, which incomes you will classify under this head. And from those incomes which are classified under the head house property, how will you determine the income from this head? That we are going to study now. Okay? So, the head house property head is from section number 22 to section number 27. Which sections? 22 to 27. If you study all these sections now, this head is over. Okay? Now, first section of any head. See, salaries first section is section 15. First section, salaries head. First section, section 15. House property head. First section, 22. PGBP head, first section 28. Capital gain, first section 45. And IFRS, first section 56. Every head, the first section tells you that which incomes will be charged under this head. Charging section for that head. What? So the incomes which according to your residential status are covered in your scope. Out of those incomes, which incomes you will classify under the head house property? Which income will be charged to tax under the head house property? On satisfying what conditions, which income will be charged to tax under the head house? That is a charging section of house property. Section number 22. Which section? Which section?
22.
So we will first talk about 22. Then 23, then 24, then 25, 25, 8, 26, 27, and there are few miscellaneous things also. When we are through with these sections and these miscellaneous concepts, miscellaneous things, this chapter is over. Very easy chapter. I've deliberately not picked up the first head, salary head, because it is a little bit, bigger as compared to house property. House property we are starting today, we will complete by tomorrow. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So there will be no problem in finishing the house property, and we'll be a little bit more confident that okay, we are understanding tax and we know everything. When the salary will be over, you'll be a little bit more confident. But when PGBP, capital gains and every chapter will come now, those are very big chapters and very interesting also. So your real taxation will start when we start with PGBP. But right now, what is happening? Net practice here. We are doing small, easy things right now. So, first house property, which section? 22 to, and which is the first section? Charging section, right now. So let's come to charging section first, okay? Now see, what is written? Yes. What is written in this charging section? Everyone. Visible? Okay. Please read the first 3 lines. Come on, guys. The annual value of any property consisting of any building or land appertaining thereto, of which the assessee is the, and which is not used by the assessee for the purpose of his business or shall be charged to tax under this. Section 22 over. See, this is the way in which it is given in the income tax law. So whatever is written in the income tax law now, I have taken it, exact same thing, I have reproduced. Now I will tell you in the easier way. There should be a house property. Point number 1, there should be a house property. The assessee should be the owner of that house property. Number 3, the house property of which the assessee is the owner should not be used by the assessee for his own business or profession. Bring that house property to this side. You have many sources of income, no, during the year. How many sources of income you are having? Many sources. For example, you have 4 businesses, 10 FDs, 4 businesses giving you business income, 10 FDs giving you interest income. Right now, you have 5 properties. So all these things from where you get income are your sources. Hello?
Yes,
Which sources you will bring under the head house property on the businesses? And their income will be taxable here. No. All the house properties of which you are the owner during the previous year. You bring all such house properties under the head house property. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
And that house property which you are bringing under the head house property head. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
That property is not to be used by your own business or profession. Only then that house property will come under this. 3 conditions. Number 1, there should be a house property. What should be there?
House property.
Assessee should be the
Owner.
of that house property. Number 3, that property shall not be used by the assessee for his own business or profession. Right now?
Yes, sir.
So how many such properties you have during the previous year? You identify all those properties. And you bring all those properties under this head. Right? Now what you will do? From these properties, you are earning income. What income you are earning? Rental income, no? That rental income will be charged to tax. Under the head,
House property.
wrong. Are you that much honest? That whatever rental income you are getting from these properties, you will show to us. So the rental income shall not be charged under this. The rent earning capacity will be charged to tax under this, which is known as annual value. What is known as? See, the house property of which you are the owner, which is not used by you for your own business or profession, if we charge tax on the rental income of this property, no, nobody is going to show us the real rental income which they are earning. Hence, instead of charging the rental income of that property under this head, we charge the rent earning capacity of that property under this head, which is known as annual value. So what you are supposed to charge under this head? Annual value. Annual value of a house property, of which you are the, and that house property shall not be used by you for your own business or profession. Understood? Section 22. Now we need to understand that what is the meaning of house property. Then I will tell you all what is the meaning of the term owner. When it will be considered that the property is being used by me for my own business or profession. First we will discuss these three conditions. And once we are, comfortable with these three conditions, only then I will tell you that how to determine the annual value which is taxable under this head. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
So can you have 4 house properties
Yes, sir.
of which you are the owner?
Yes, sir.
All the 4 properties, out of 4 properties, 1 property is used by you in your business or profession. You ignore that property. What about the other 3 properties? Those 3 properties are not used by you for your own business or you bring all these 3 properties under the head house property. Right? Now for every property which you have classified under the head house property, you need to calculate annual value. How will you calculate? You will decide. If it is to be decided by you, you will never allow it to go beyond 0. So you will not decide that how to determine the annual value. We will tell you that how to determine the annual value, and that we have given under section 23. So the section 23 will tell you that for those properties which you have brought under this head, how to determine the annual value and how that annual value will be charged to tax. How that will be calculated and how it will be taxable will be given in section number 23. 23 subsection 1 to 23 subsection 5. 5 different cases are there. Once you have determined the annual value of every property, then from that annual value you will get deduction. Something you are allowed to minus from that annual value, and that is known as deduction, which are given under section 24. 24 clause A, 24 clause B. 2 deductions you will get from the annual value of each property. Property 1, annual value, deduction. Property 2, annual value, deduction. Property 3, annual value, deduction. Are you all getting me?
Yes, sir.
Then you will get final income from all the properties. You add all of them, you will get income under the head house property. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then there are concepts like 25, 25A, then 26, 27, all those concepts also we will do. But first of all, you got the idea.
Yes, sir.
So what is taxable under this head?
House
Rental income, no? The actual rent which you are earning, no? The rent earning capacity, which is known as annual value. Annual value of what?
House property.
Of which you are the
Owner.
and which is not used by the assessee for his. Right? Everyone? What is annual value? We'll discuss it a little bit later. Now, first of all, let us discuss what is house property. What is house property? Any building. What did I say? Any building means the building can be residential also, it can be commercial also. So don't get fooled by the word house property. They are fooling you by saying the word
House property.
not just the residential nature properties, but the
Commercial.
properties which are of commercial in nature, they are also treated as house property under this head. So do you have any kind of building? Do you have any kind of building?
Yes, sir.
Even if it is residential or it is commercial, any type of building is a house property under the head house property. Everyone,
Yes, sir.
what do you mean by building? 4 walls and a roof. Structure with 4 walls and a roof. That structure is nothing but a building. Right now, can be residential, can be commercial. Any type of building is a house property. Now, for example, the house in which you live, is it a house property?
Yes,
Yes. The flat in which you live, is it a house property? The bungalow in which you live, is it a house property?
Yes, sir.
Everyone,
Yes, sir.
these are all residential nature properties. So the classroom in which we are sitting,
Commercial.
is it a house property?
Yes, sir.
In layman language, it might not be house property, but for the purpose of income tax head, for the purpose of this head, even this classroom is a house property. My office, house property. My shop, my go down, my factory building, right now, a mall,
House property.
a cinema hall,
House property.
a theater,
House property.
every building, either it is residential in nature or commercial in nature, has to be a house property. Everyone, even any part of the building is also building. Any part of the building is also, and if it is building, has to be a house property. Best example is roof. Roof of the building. Is it a part of the building?
Yes, sir.
And if it is a part of the building, has to be the building. And if it is a building, has to be a. So if I let out my roof, if I let out my roof, am I letting out the building? No. But I am letting out the part. That means roof of this building I am letting out. Whatever rent I will get now shall be taxed under the head from letting out that roof also. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
See, sometimes what happens, I'm letting out the outside wall. The wall which is facing the road. That wall I'm letting out to some advertising company for affixing a hoarding. So that advertising company is taking my wall for a rent. What is that wall? Part of my building only, no? So whatever rent I'll get from letting out that wall is nothing but my income from understanding,
Yes, sir.
because a part of the building is also building, and if it is a building, it is a house. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Not just the building or its part, but any land which is appertinent to such building. What? Any land which is appertinent to such building. That means the land which is attached to the building. It is such land which does not have its own identity. This is a part and parcel of this building. For example, there is a house. In that house, there is a small garden, or there is a small parking area inside the house. So that parking area is nothing but a small piece of land. That garden is nothing but a small piece of. Is this land attached to the main building?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Is this land does this land has its own identity? No. It is a part and parcel of this. So whenever you transfer the building, the ownership of this land is also automatically transferred with the building's ownership. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So this land does not have its own identity. It is so connected with the building that it forms part and parcel of this building. That means this land is appurtenant to, or this land is attached to the building. Such kind of land is also house property. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So what is house property? Any building. Residential or commercial. Any part of the building is also building, and it is also house property. Even any land which is appurtenant, that is attached to such building, is also house property. Did you understand,
Yes, sir.
everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, can I have a piece of land? Say for example, in Chennai now, what I did, I'm coming here frequently to teach the students. So I want to make a second home here in Chennai. I don't want to buy a flat. I want to construct a house. So what I do, besides this building, there is an open plot of land. I bought that plot, that some fine day I will construct a house here. Right now, what I bought?
Lot of land.
Plot. Vacant plot of land I bought. Is there any building on that?
No, sir.
It is a vacant plot, vacant site, right now. So whenever will the building be constructed, that time is far right now. But right now this plot is lying idle. This plot I bought for what? For constructing my house property, right now. But till the time the house property is not constructed, what I did, I gave this vacant plot on rent to
Kaushik.
Kaushik. Kaushik has taken that plot on rent from me. Am I getting rental income
Yes, sir.
from letting out
Yes, sir.
plot of land, vacant plot? Right now,
Yes, sir.
what I'm getting as income? Rent.
Correct.
Is that rent my income from house property?
Yes, sir. No.
No,
No building.
because there is no house property. Is there any building which I have let out?
No, sir.
Any part of the building I have let out? Or the land appurtenant to building I have let out? No. So no house property is let out. Then how come the rent will be income from house property? Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So in order to tax the rental income under this head, that rental income should come from house property. No.
Yes, sir.
What I have let out? Open plot of land. Vacant land. Is it a building? Is it land appurtenant to building? Is it a part of building? It is not a house property only. And if it is not a house property, how can the rent from this property get taxed under this head? Still I am getting this income, no? This income cannot be taxed here, but it can be taxed under the head IFRS or PGBP as the case may be. If I am into the business of I'm into the business of renting such kind of plots now, then whatever rent I'm getting will be my PGBP. And if it is not my business of renting out such plots, then this rental income is my IFRS. But it can never be my income from
House property.
because this rent is not coming from letting out a building or land appurtenant there, or neither from any of its parts. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So can you see note number 1? Please read it entirely. And let me know, have we discussed or not? Done?
There's a huge park and then there is a small building inside the park.
Excellent question. I don't know that why you could not figure out. Good question. What she is asking, there is a huge land on that land, somewhere there is a small building, right now? Tell me, is this land attached to building? No. There is a building attached to land. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So this is not land opportunent to building. This land is having its own identity. Its identity is not that of building. It has own identity. So if you anytime let out this land and get the rental income, cannot be your income from house. Will be treated as income from open or vacant plot of land. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Now, first thing you came to know? Yes. What? Open plot of land, no? On that a small building is constructed. Is that small building, is this land attached to this small building? Stand up. Is this land attached to the building? No. So this is not land appertaining to building. And if it is not land appertaining to building, this land cannot be treated as house property. It is as good as open plot of land, as good as vacant plot of land. Whatever rent you are getting has to be your income from other sources or PGBP, cannot be taxed under the head house property. Done? Sit down. Now, did you understand this much, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, second condition. Remember, there should be a house property. What was the second condition? The assessee must be the.
What are the property?
Now, tell me, who should be an assessee? Assessee can be any person. Individual can also
Yes.
own a house property. HF can also own a, even company, firm, any person can be the owner. Understood? So you can be any person. If you are the owner of a property, the annual value of that property will be charged to you under this head only. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
If you are an individual, you are the owner of the property, then the annual value of this property for you will be taxable under the head
Income from.
house property. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
If you are an HUF, you are the owner of this property, then the annual value of this property for you also will be taxable under the head house property. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So no need to worry that what person you are. You can be any person, but you have to be the owner of the property, right? No? When you should be the owner?
Sir, the title.
When you should be the owner of this property?
Ownership.
When the ownership is required. Ownership is required in the previous year, or it should be there in the assessment year as well.
Previous year.
So even though you are not the owner in the assessment year, no, still the income of the property will be taxed during the assessment year if you are the owner in the assessment year. Sorry, the owner in the previous year. Understood?
Yes, sir.
See what happens, no? In the assessment year, the income is taxed. For any source, no, any source of income you have, for that source of income, if you are earning income, no, that income is taxed during the assessment. Whether or not you are having that source in the assessment year. If you are having that source in the assessment year, from this source, did you earn income in the previous year? There is a previous year. In that previous year, you have a source of income. In the previous year, you have a, from this source, you are earning income in the previous year.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
So the income from this source of this previous year has to compulsorily be taxed under the, in the assessment year. Whether or not you have this source in the assessment year. Even if you have this source in the assessment year, or you don't have this source in the assessment year, irrespective of that fact, the income of this source will be taxable during the assessment year. Why? Because you had this source of income during the previous year. So, do you have a house property? Are you the owner of that property?
Yes, sir.
You should be the owner during
Previous year.
right now.
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any requirement that in order to charge tax on the income of this property, you should be the owner during the assessment year also?
No, sir.
No requirement. Understood?
Yes,
So
sir.
when the ownership of the property is required during the previous year. If you are the owner of the property during the previous year, then the income of this property, that is the annual value of the property, will be taxable compulsory during the assessment year. Whether you are owner of the property or not the owner of the property during the assessment. Understood?
Yes, sir.
That is your first part and second part. Check. First and second part. Right now? Now see. Owner means what? Owner means legal owner. Owner means? So are you the legal owner of the property? Are you the legal owner of the property? Only then the income of this property shall be taxable to you under the head house property. Understanding? But sometimes, what did I say?
Sometimes.
Even though you are not the legal owner, but still the income of this property shall be taxed in your hands because we consider you as a deemed owner. So there is a concept of deemed ownership under section 2727. Last section of this chapter which we will do. Once we finish 27, this chapter will be over. So the last section of this chapter is about deemed ownership. See, if you are the legal owner of this property now, the income of this property is taxable to you. Understood?
Yes, sir.
If you are the legal owner of this property. What if you are not the legal owner of this property? Then normally the income of this property will not be taxed to you. But there are certain exceptional cases under section 27. In those exceptional cases, even though you are not the legal owner of the property, but as per section 27, you are deemed as the owner of that property. And once as per section 27, if you are deemed as the owner of that property, so even though you are not the legal owner, still the income of the property shall be charged to tax in your hands only. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So, legal ownership is required, everyone. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Legal ownership is required? Yes. So, if you are the legal owner, then only the income of the property will be taxable.
Yes, sir.
What if you are not the legal owner? Usually, the income of such property is not taxable for you.
Yes, sir.
But if you are covered by section 27, that means if you are deemed as the owner of that property, then also the income of that property shall be charged to tax in your hands only, even though you are not the legal owner. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So what are those cases given in section?
27.
We'll read it at last. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, go to the next part, this part. What does this mean? Anyone can tell me. Ownership of the building is required, not the land on which the building stands. What is written in charging section? There should be house property, and you should be the also the land on which this property stands.
No, sir.
So section 22 charge will get attracted automatically once you are the owner of the building itself. Even though you are not the owner of the land on which the building stands. There has to be a land. Only then there will be a building. Without land, can the building stand? So there is a land. On that land, their building is standing. Are you the owner of this building?
Yes, sir.
Sufficient. Sufficient. You may or may not be the owner of the land on which the building is standing. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, next one. Next example I'll give you. Kaushik is there. I am there. I have a house property. I'm the owner of this house property. Hello.
Yes, sir.
My house property of which I am the owner. I'm giving this house property on rent to Kaushik. What Kaushik will give me? For me, that rental income is my house property. Why? There is a house property? Yes. Am I the owner? Am I using that property for my business or profession? So whatever rental income from that property is coming has to be my income under the head house property. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Now who is having my property? Is he having a house property?
No.
Yes, he's having a house property. But is he the owner of that house property?
No.
Now what Kaushik is doing? Kaushik is further subletting that property to someone. For example, what is your name?
Nidish.
Nidish, sorry. Kaushik is letting out this same property. He's subletting to Nidish. And Kaushik is also earning rent from Nidish. Is there a house property
Yes, sir.
with him? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
But is he the owner of that property?
No.
So whatever rent he's getting from Nidish, no? On subletting the property, cannot be his income from, it is his income from other sources or PGDP as the case may be. If he is in the business of subletting the properties, then this rental income is PGDP. And if he is not in the business of subletting the properties, then his rental income which he is getting is his income from other sources. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Who is A? Oman sir. Who is B? Kaushik. And who is C? Kaushik is giving me rent. For me, that rent is, and Nidish is giving rent to, for that, for Kaushik, that rental income is either IFOS or PGDP. As the, understood? Shall I move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Now, see, sometimes what happens, no? If I buy a house property from anyone, okay? I'm buying a house property, for example, what is your name, madam? Kanchana. Okay? Kanchana, yes, yes. Ranchana, okay, Ranchana. Sorry to pronounce wrong. Ranchana, she is having a property, right? She is the seller of the property and I am the buyer of the property. I'm buying the property from her. She is selling the property for 50 lakhs. How much?
50 lakhs.
Okay. I'm ready to take the property on 50 lakhs. Now what will happen? She must be the legal owner of that property. So in the records, government records, the property is registered on her name. Okay. Now when I'm buying the property, if that legal ownership I want, what we will have to do? Seller and buyer will go to the registrar and get the sale deed registered. Then the legal ownership is registering the property on my name. The legal ownership I can take.
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
What is happening? I have paid her 50 lakhs entirely. Okay? And we are not getting the sale deed registered. Why? Because on registration, what will happen? No, we'll have to pay stamp duty also. So we want to save the stamp duty. You want to save the? So what I told her, that madam, will not go and get the property registered on my name. Let it be on your name. You just give the power of attorney of the property to me. Power of. So all the raise, all the rewards of the property you transfer, give me the possession also, I will pay you the amount. Okay? She was the legal owner. Property was registered on her name.
Yes, sir.
Is this property registered on my name?
No, sir.
Have we registered the sale deed?
No, sir.
But now the property is with me,
Yes, sir.
right now.
Yes, sir.
Am I the registered owner of the property?
No.
But I am the beneficial owner of it. What am I?
Beneficial.
The moment power of attorney given to me, possession given to me, I will be as good as the real owner of the property. It's merely in the government records, I don't appear to be a owner, but the benefits of the property are coming to me only, no?
Yes, sir.
I am enjoying the property, I am having the control over the property. So who is the beneficial owner? So even though I am not the legal owner, but I am a sale deed is not registered on my name, I am not becoming the legal owner. Beneficial owner,
Yes, sir.
still I will be treated as owner, deemed owner. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So there can be a dispute in ownership also. See, everything related to ownership, no, you should know. If anything out of this coming in your exam, no, you should be aware what to do, what not to do. I would have just told you 3 conditions. There should be a house property, you should be the owner, that house property should not be used by you for your own business, or you would have never come to know about these things. I could have easily hidden these things from you, and you could have easily accepted these things from me without even knowing what is happening. So these things are giving you an advantage over others. What others will be doing, they will be studying only without acquiring knowledge. You are studying also to get past, but passing with knowledge. So these extra things are there which are supposed to be known to you. These are bare minimum basics which you should know if you are reading this, if you are studying this chapter. If someday somebody asks you, then you should be in a position to tell them. Right now? Now tell me one thing. If there is a dispute in ownership, I am the owner of the property right now. Kaushik is my younger brother. Kaushik has filed a case against me regarding the ownership of the property. Such kind of brothers should not have. So what he is doing? He has disputed the ownership of the property. In the court, he is going and he is telling that, sir, the property has been taken by my elder brother from me, but this property belonged to me. So he has disputed the ownership. He is the owner, he is claiming. Now, until and unless the court gives the decision that who is the real owner, neither I am the owner nor he is the owner, because ownership itself is in dispute. Now, what do you think? For how many years the case will go? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It can be a number of years, right now. So what will happen during these 10, 20 years? While there will be case going on. For these years, it will be unknown that he is the owner or I am the owner. Because during this period, the ownership is in dispute, no? But what about the income of this property? In whose hands the income of this property shall be taxed? His hands. The department officer will come and ask him to pay tax on this income. What he will say? I still don't know whether I am the owner of the property or not. Until the time I am not the owner of the property, why would I pay tax? Understanding? What I will say? I would have loved to pay tax, but I can't. And I want. Why? I'm not the owner. Ownership is yet to be decided by the court. Let the court decide, then come. 10, 20 years, this will happen. No. The assessing officer has full right during the period for which there is a dispute in ownership. No, assessing officer has full right to charge tax on the income from that person who has the control over the property or who derives the benefit of the property, even though he is not the owner yet. Even though decision is pending, even though the ownership is in dispute. We will not wait for the court decision to come, no. And if that is the case, if we wait for the court decision to come, everyone will start disputing the ownership of the property and nobody will pay tax. Understand? What I will do, I have 10 properties and I don't want to pay tax on the income of any property. What I will do, I will tell my brother to dispute the ownership of all the properties. You have secret arrangement. He's never bothered about the ownership of the property, but he's my brother, no? So I will tell him to dispute the ownership of all the properties. Till the time dispute is going on, I will not pay tax only. Neither I will pay, nor he will pay. So will they ever be able to take tax on the income of such properties? No, na. So what will happen in that case? Whatever properties, the ownership of which are in dispute, on all the properties, the assessing officer have exclusive right to decide from whom he can have tax from. So AO can collect tax from that person who derives the benefit from the property, who has the control over the property. AO can take tax till that time, right? No? And once the court decides, after that, automatically from that person who is decided as the owner. Understanding, everyone? So did you know first condition, what is house property? Did you know ownership? Everyone? Now third condition. What is the third condition?
Shall not be used for
The property of which the assessee is the owner shall not be used by the assessee for his own business or profession. Why? Because from that property which is used in business or profession, you are deriving the business or profession income, no? On that you are paying tax under the head. So we are not that bad. That the rental value of that property also we tax under the head house. You leave this property out of this head. Understanding? So the property which is being used by you for your own business or profession, exploitation is happening in business or profession. That is the reason why its rental exploitation cannot happen. Exploitation for earning rent cannot happen. Why? Because its exploitation is happening in business or profession to earn business or profession income on which you are already paying tax under the head PGB. So such kind of property whose rental value you cannot exploit due to its use in business or profession, such kind of properties you leave out of this head. Understanding? See, the property shall not be used for the purpose of assessee's own business or profession, the profit of which are chargeable under the head PGB. Understood? Did you get the logic? Now, you can see the second point. There is a Supreme Court judgment. There is a Supreme Court judgment. There is a house property with you. There is a property with you, and you are letting out that property on rent, and you are getting rent. That means, why did you let out the property? Why did you let out? To earn rent. That means you had an intention to exploit the rent earning capacity of that property. And exploiting the rent earning capacity of the property and earning rent, whatever rent is there has to be your house property income. Hello? So whenever you earn the rent with an intention to exploit the rent earning capacity, at that time whatever rental income is there has to be your house property. Understood now? Now what I am doing, I am having many properties. I am having, right? And I am in the business only of letting them on rent and earning rent. So my primary intention is not to exploit the renting earning capacity. The primary intention is to do a business of letting the properties on rent and earning the rent. And in this business, my properties are being let out and I'm earning rent. So even though the rental capacity of the property is exploited and rent is earned, but exploiting this rental capacity only is my business. No. Understanding? So whatever rent I'll get, even though on exploitation of renting capacity only I am earning this rent, but this rent cannot be my house property income, has to be my PGBP income. That is the judgment of the Supreme Court. There is one more case law, Chennai Properties and Investments Limited. Similar judgment, Supreme Court judgment only. What is the name of the judgment? Chennai Properties and Investments Limited. Supreme Court decided the same judgment Supreme Court gave, which gave in Raila Corporations. Understanding? So first of all, I have a property. Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Do I have a property?
Yes, sir.
With an intention to exploit the rent earning capacity, I'm letting it out.
Yes, sir.
Whatever rent I'm getting has to be my income from house. Everyone,
Yes, sir.
everyone.
Yes, sir.
But I have many properties. I have,
Many properties.
and I'm in the business only of letting the properties on rent and earning rental income. So here also what will happen? I will let out the property. I will let out the property and I will exploit the rent earning capacity by letting them out. But the rental income which will be earned, no, has to be my PGBP income. Why? Because my business is to let out these properties and earning rent. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So this is which court judgment? Supreme Court judgment. And if Supreme Court has given some judgment, no, that judgment in itself becomes law now.
Yes, sir.
No need to have a separate provisions in the Income Tax Act. This judgment itself becomes the part of that law now. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now one more question which I will ask. See, first case which I told you, please remember and give me the correct answer. First case, I have a property.
Yes, sir.
I'm letting it out.
Yes, sir.
I'm earning rent. This rent is my house property. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm a company.
Yes, sir.
My memorandum of association is met.
Yes,
In
sir.
that memorandum of association, object clause is there. In that object clause, main business is letting out the properties and earning rent. Main business is letting out the properties and earning. So, to do this business, I might have properties.
Yes, sir.
I'm letting them out,
Yes, sir.
earning rent.
Yes, sir.
This rent income is house property or PGB?
PGBP.
Understood? No, second case.
Yes, sir.
Now coming to the third case. Please listen to me very carefully. I am in the business of buying and selling the properties. Taking the properties and giving them on rent is not my business. Buying the properties, selling the properties, earning profit is my business. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Buying the properties, selling the properties is my business. Constructing the properties, selling the constructed properties is my business. So for me, these properties are stocking trade.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Buying the pen, selling the pen. Buying the pen, selling the pen. Pen is my. So buying the property, selling the property, buying the property, selling the property. I'm in the business only of buying and selling the property. Property will be mine. Somebody told capital asset. Not my capital. This is my. Understood now? Can the house property be stock in trade? Yes. For a builder, for a property dealer, it can be stock in trade. No. Right now?
Yes, sir.
What is my business?
Buying and selling.
Buying and selling. Whatever income will be there, my PGBP income.
Yes, sir.
Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Constructing and selling, whatever income is there, PGBP income. Understood now?
Yes, sir.
For example, I have bought some property or I have constructed some property. Before I sell them, I know that these properties can earn rent also. So till the time they are in stock in trade, I have not sold them. Till the time they are with me in my stock in trade. With an intention to earn the rent from them, I'm letting them on rent. What I'm getting? Am I in the business of earning such rent? So whatever rent I will get from those properties which are held by me as a, even that rent will be my house property. Because earning that rent is not my buying or constructing and selling. That will give me PGBP income, but till the time the properties are unsold and with me, held by me as a stock in trade, and if I am earning any rent, no, that is only with an intention to exploit the rent earning capacity. I am earning that rent. Understanding? So with that intention, if I earn rental income, so if that rental income is even coming from my stock in trade properties also, no, cannot be taxed under the head. PGBP has to be my house property. Understood?
Yes, sir.
These three cases, no, I will ask you once again. These three cases, I will ask you, be ready for the correct answer. If you don't give me correct answer, no, just see what I will do that next. These three cases, I will ask you in the tomorrow's lecture only. And by tomorrow, at least you should remember it. Later you remember or not, that is your lookout. Understood this much?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see. First point you came to know.
Yes, sir.
Second point you came to know.
Yes, sir.
Now I am discussing the third point right now. Third point, please remember. Please see, when I used to be a article, no, in my articleship period, I did my articleship from Mumbai. There's a small firm known as Aneja Associates. Very small firm, but it had very big clients. Have you heard Ultratech Cement?
Yes, sir.
Birla Cement, Birla.
Yes, sir.
So the Birla Group has cement manufacturing plants all over India. So the biggest plant, Ultratech Cement manufacturing, happening by Birla in 5 or 6 locations in India. So the biggest plant is there in the Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh border. In the Madhya Pradesh only, but that part is very near to Rajasthan. Very remote area. Remote area. See, the cement manufacturing plant, no, it requires huge land. And the operations which happen, no, are very risky. It cannot be there between the town or city. The whole city will be blown. If something wrong happens in that plant, no, whole city is gone and the people around are also gone. So much risky operations are there. And the land is required, very huge land is required. So first of all, that land cannot be in between or nearby the city because that will be too costly. And second, the operations are very risky. So the land cannot be in or nearby any city or town. It has to be very far in the remote areas, right now. So this plant was very far away in a remote area. Now, it is such a huge plant now that approximately 5,000 employees would be working there. How many?
5,000.
And in 3 shifts, 8 hours, 3 shifts. And the plant operates 24/7, 365 days. That is shut down only for 2 days for annual maintenance. And in those 2 days also, they have lakhs and crores rupees of loss. If they keep the plant shut for 2 days also. So that plant operates on a continuous basis. Huge plant it is. Approximately 5,000 employees are working there. Now, where do these people come from?
Yes, sir.
To operate this entire huge plant, you need many employees, many workers, right now. Without the workers and employees, this plant is useless. You need such employees. Where do they come from? Nearby town, right now. That nearby town is 70 kilometers away. And the roads are very smooth. Sarcasm, you know, na? 70 kilometers, you cannot expect everyone to travel every day. And that too also, in that town, the number of people living there are not skilled enough to work. Everyone is not going to work here, no?
Yes, sir.
So there will always be employees who will be coming from outside, right? From outside, they will come and work here. Work here, then stay here. In the factory. No. There is a huge township created. Just in front of the factory gate, there is a huge land bought by the company. Birla has bought a huge land. On that land, they have constructed many house properties. Small bungalows, small buildings they have constructed. Entire township they have developed. So whatever employees who are coming to work there in that factory, where they will stay? In this township. There is a school for their children, hospital also, there is a temple also. All the recreational facilities are created. So it is made a small town. Supermarket is also there. So you need not worry about anything. If you are coming to work here, you stay here with your family, everything will be taken care of because this township is developed by the company itself. Right now? So our guest house was also there. The auditors we used to go, we used to stay there in the guest house. Along with the guest house building, there are many buildings, many small houses also. All those buildings, all those houses are given to employees. Wait. Shh. Guys, don't drift away from the discussion. So in that township, there are small houses. Understand, you all are employees. You have joined that company. You are going and living there. You are working in that factory and living in those houses. Okay? Those houses are yours? Or the company is the owner of those houses? Company is the owner of those houses? Company has given those houses to its employees. Right now?
Yes, sir.
Those houses are used by that company for its own business or profession. What is the business of the company? Those houses are not used in the cement manufacturing, but cement manufacturing requires employees. And to keep the employees, those houses are required.
Yes, sir.
So those houses are used for business or profession of the associate. Right? No? So what that company is doing, that company is giving you houses to live, but the company is also charging small amount as a rent from you. You should not feel like you are being kept on a free of cost basis. And to maintain those houses, the company might incur some expenses also, no? So maintenance and everything will happen from the rent which the company is recovering from. So now, is there a house property?
Yes, sir.
Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That house property of which the company is the owner,
Yes, sir.
is that house property used by the company for its own business or profession?
Yes.
So this house property cannot come under the head house property for that company. Right now, for that company, this house property will not be considered under the head house property. No house property income will be computed in the hands of company for these house properties which the company is having and given on rent to its employees. Okay,
Yes, sir.
but still the company is earning some income. In the course of business or profession only this income is earned, no?
Yes, sir.
So this rental income from this properties shall be income in the hands of company chargeable under the head PGDP. Main business income, selling of cement and earning income,
Yes, sir.
that is main business income.
Yes, sir.
But along with earning that main income, this incidental income is also earned in the course of business or profession. Has to be PGDP. Understood?
Yes, sir.
This income cannot be house property income for the company. First reason, the houses are used by the company in its business or profession. And second reason, the houses are not given on rent with an intention to earn rental income. Rent earning capacity exploitation is not an intention. Doing the business or profession in a more efficient way, helping the employees stay somewhere so I can do my business. Understanding? So by doing this, I am doing good for my business. Right? I never gave these houses on rent to my employees. With an intention to earn the rental income. Okay? So this rental income cannot be my house property income, has to be my PGBP income. And that too also not main, incidental PGBP income. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is the case. Now, this point number 4 and this point, right now, this point number 4, this you will come to know with agricultural income. There is a chapter which we do. Which chapter? Along with this agricultural income, I will discuss this point there only. Okay? Don't worry about this. Now, next is, are you a partner in a partnership form?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, if I am there and in my own business or profession, that means if I have a proprietary business, if I have my own business, in that own business or profession, if I am using my property, the annual value of that property will not be taxable for me under the head house property. Understood? No?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because that property is used by me for my own business or profession. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Now, what if that property is used by my partnership firm in the partnership business in which I am a partner? There can be a case now where myself and Nidish, we both are partners. We have to do a business. For that business, there is a property which is required. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So Nidish has a property of which he is the owner. What Nidish is saying, me, sir, instead of taking the property on rent from somebody else, no, let us use my property only for our partnership business. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is he using his own property
Yes, sir.
in his partnership business?
Yes,
That
sir.
means he is using that property for his business only. For this property also, the annual value will not be taxed to him. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Because that property is used by him in his business only. Partnership business is also his income only, his business only, no?
Yes, sir.
Understanding?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is the last point which is written here. Okay? Now please pay attention on a very important thing which I am telling you all now. See, 3 conditions which we have checked. First condition was there should be a house property. Second condition, you should be the owner of that property. And third condition, you shall not use that building for your own business or profession. Right now?
Yes, sir.
So if all the 3 conditions are satisfied, then whatever buildings you have for which you are satisfying all these 3 conditions, you can have such 10 buildings also. You can have such 15 buildings, 15 house properties also. You can have 3 house properties also. You can have any number of house properties right now of which you are the owner during the previous year. So are you the owner of any such property during the year? Yes. Bring all such properties under the head house property. Now what you are supposed to do with these properties? Find out the annual value of each of the building, each of the house property which you have brought under the head house property. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So for all the properties, all the sources of income which have come under the head house property, by satisfying these 3 conditions, for every property you are supposed to calculate annual value. What you are supposed to calculate?
Annual value.
And that annual value only for every property will be taxed under the head house property. Now what do you mean by annual value? Simple meaning, rent earning capacity. How much rent your property can earn? How much you are earning? How much it can? Whichever is higher. That is taxable under the head house. According to us, your property can earn 2 lakhs. How much you are earning? 3 lakhs. Wow. Then your rent earning capacity is higher. That is why you are earning higher, no? Pay tax on 3 lakhs. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
See, we thought that you will earn 2 lakhs. But how much you are earning?
3 lakhs.
Pay tax on 3 lakhs. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
We thought that minimum you will earn how much?
2 lakhs.
How much you are earning? Only 150. Not possible. Not possible only. We thought that minimum you will earn how much? 2 lakhs. How much you are earning? Less than our expectation. Not possible only. You are a liar. You are a. This is the bare minimum which you can earn from the property as a rent. And if you will say that you are earning less than this only, no, will not believe you. Whatever you are saying, no, bullshit. Whatever we expect, you pay tax on that amount. Entire 2 lakh will be tax. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
The 2 lakh will include whatever you have earned and whatever you could have earned, which you are trying to hide from us. And if you are hiding, that 50,000 is taxed. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
And if you are not hiding anything, no, so you are a biggest fool. If your property can earn 2 lakh and you are earning 1 lakh 50, oh my God. You're mad, no? If your property can earn minimum how much?
2 lakhs.
And how much you are earning?
1 lakh.
So even if you are not hiding anything from us, you are a biggest fool. And until and unless we will charge tax on 2 lakhs, your eyes will not open. We will never bother to earn more. So we'll pinch you. We'll pinch you by taxing 2 lakhs so that you actually find out some person who can actually give you 2 lakhs or more than that. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So see, here what will happen, no? Whatever discussion which I did, no, right now, it is just the, basic idea. It is just the basic idea. I will have a detailed discussion about everything. But first of all, tell me, can you have multiple properties?
Yes, sir.
Can you have multiple properties
Yes, sir.
of which you are the owner
Yes,
and
sir.
not used by you? Any of the properties not used by you for your own business or profession?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, all the properties are used by you for what purpose? What type of properties these properties can have? What kind of properties these properties would be? See, you have a house property of which you are the owner. You are not using that house property for your own business or profession. That property can be let out.
Yes, sir.
That property can be let out property. LOP. What will you call? Let out property you have. So whatever properties you are having, out of those properties you see how many let out properties you are having. All the let out properties are there. You are earning rent from them now. So there is a rental value of that property, which rental value you are exploiting and earning rent.
Yes, sir.
So on the rental value of that property, will you pay tax or you will not pay tax?
Pay
You
tax.
pay tax. So there is one section, section 23, subsection 1. Which section?
Section 23.
Which says that whatever properties are there with you now, out of all those properties, some properties can be let out properties. LOP. For these let out properties, there is a rental value. And that rental value, you are actually exploiting and actually earning the rent also, no? So on that rental value of these properties, you are supposed to pay tax also. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So can I say rental value of these properties is nothing but annual value?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
This annual value you are supposed to calculate also, and this is taxable also. Under the head, income from house property. So all the let out properties you are having, no?
Yes, sir.
All the let out properties you have to compute annual value, and that annual value will also be taxable. Where it is written?
Section
23, subsection 1. But how to determine this annual value, I will discuss a little bit later. But first of all, from all the properties, you can have let out properties. Right now,
Yes, sir.
but is it necessary that all the properties are let out only?
No, sir.
Few properties can be self-occupied also, no?
Yes, sir.
Self-occupied for what? For your business or profession. That means you are using those properties, you are self-occupying those properties for your own business or profession. You never bring such kind of properties under these heads. These kind of properties only will not come under this head. Understanding or not? Now, what about other properties? What about other properties? The properties which are self-occupied. Why you are self-occupied? For your or your family members, residential use, everyone. So as per section 23, subsection 2, there might be some properties with you which are self-occupied. Self-occupied for what? Residential use. Right now, you bring all such properties here under the head house property. Now tell me, can these properties give you rent? They can give you. But are you earning rent from these properties? That means this property has rent earning capacity. But are you exploiting the rent earning capacity of these properties and earning actual rent? Then the rent earning capacity of these properties shall be taxable or shall not be taxable? Shall not be taxable. The rent earning capacity of these properties shall be exempt. Understood? So can I say SOPs will also have rent earning capacity? But since that rent earning capacity cannot be exploited, why? Because you are staying in that property, your family is staying in that property. That is the reason why the rent earning capacity cannot be exploited. Hence, that rent earning capacity we will not charge tax. Understanding? So this annual value will be exempt, shall be taken as nil. For how many SOPs you can do this? If you say that you have one SOP, annual value exempt. Even if you have two SOPs, annual value exempt. Said, wow, this is so nice. Whenever I say that property is self-occupied, annual value is exempted. Property is self-occupied, annual value is exempt. Now, assume if for all the properties, all the SOPs, they will say 5 SOPs, annual value exempt. 10 SOPs, annual value exempt. You can have unlimited exemption, then what will happen? You will actually let out some property, you will actually earn rent, but that rent you will earn in cash. You will not show someone and tell the department that this is my SOP. Understanding? No? So you will do wrong things. So to stop you from doing wrong things, listen to me very carefully. All the SOPs which you have, out of all the SOPs, maximum 2 SOPs. Maximum 2 SOPs. You can aim the annual value of any 2 SOPs. Option is given to you. You decide which 2 SOPs. Right now, any 2 SOPs, annual value, that means rent earning capacity, go, exempt. Other SOPs, no, the rent earning capacity will not be exempted. Either those properties are actually let out, but you are telling us SOP, or these properties can be let out, but you are wasting the rent earning capacity of these properties. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
So let us pinch you. The properties which are SOP, out of all the properties, any 2 properties, SOP, the annual value you can claim as, no need to calculate only. If you calculate also, then exempt only, no?
Yes, sir.
So take them, nil. What about the other SOPs? What about the other SOPs? The annual value of those SOPs we will not exempt. Those properties shall be deemed to be let out properties. DLOP. These are SOPs. These are 2 SOPs given the option to you.
Yes, sir.
So if you have 5 SOPs, you decide which 2 SOPs you are going to claim exemption. Remaining SOPs for which you could not claim exemption, as per section 23 subsection 4 shall be treated as deemed let out properties. For all these deemed let out properties, there is rent earning capacity. Tell me yes or no. Which you either could not exploit, you are wasting, or actually exploiting, not telling us. This annual value shall be taxable. Understanding? And how this annual value will be calculated in the same manner in which annual value of LOP is computed under section 23. So the calculation of annual value of LOP and calculation of annual value of DLOP, calculation is same. Understood? And for this, how many SOP? Maximum 2 SOPs. Understanding? So if I have only one SOP, tell me what to do. Annual value, nil, exempt. If I have 2 SOPs, both the annual value of both the SOPs exempt. Okay. What if I have 3 SOPs? For example, 1 and 2 exempt, no, then third will be DLO. If I exempt 2 and 3, then 1 will be understanding. If I exempt 1 and 3, then 2 will be DLO. That is decided by me only, that which SOP annual value I will take as exempt. Okay. Now tell me which SOP exemption should I take?
Highest value.
SOPs having highest annual value, I will claim as exempt, and the SOPs with lowest annual value, I will offer as deemed let out properties. Understanding? Everyone? Now, your properties, all the properties, out of those properties, few properties are let out, annual value calculated and taxable. All the properties, few properties are SOP. Guys, few properties are SOPs. Out of all the SOPs, maximum 2 SOPs. Annual value exempted. Hello. All the other SOPs of which the annual value could not be exempted under section 23 to treated as DLOP as per section 23(4), and their annual value you will compute and taxable also. Right now, you can have only these many properties or other properties also. Understand this thing. Till what time we have lecture? Only 1 o'clock. Why? 1:30, no? Seriously 1 o'clock. The line, no? Anna, till what time the lecture is? 1? What, Anna? You should have said 1:30. Sorry, I was not aware about this. Okay. Wait. We'll hold here and we'll meet tomorrow and we'll continue from here. Okay? Bye everyone. Wait. You're supposed to wait. Anna is coming. Yes.